Ram through. Instant, target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. If the creature you control has trample, excess damage is dealt to that creature's controller instead. Ram through is similar to a fight removal spell, but even better since it does not damage your own creature, and this spell has the upside of dealing excess damage to the opponent if the creature you control has trample. Kogla the Titan Ape. 3 and 3 green. When Kogla the Titan Ape enters the battlefield, it fights up to one target creature you don't control. Whenever Kogla attacks, destroy target artifact or enchantment depending player controls. 1 and 1 green. Return target human you control to its owner's hand. Kogla gains indestructible until end of turn. This legendary ape enters slapping a creature for 7 damage, and then on every attack, Kogla destroys a problematic artifact or enchantment. This indestructible potential is nifty as well if you have a human, but even if you don't, the card is still powerful and is not easily destroyed in combat with a beefy body of 7/6. Bastion of Remembrance. 2 and 1 black. When Bastion of Remembrance enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. As Bastion enters, it makes a 1/1 human soldier, which is nice for blocking and token synergies. And the death trigger is similar to Zulapult Cutthroat, but as an enchantment version, which makes it more difficult to take it out as opposed to it being a creature. Dranith Magistrate. 1 and 1 white. Your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hand. This wizard sees play mainly in CEDH, which is why it has such a high price in the market as of now. This card essentially prevents anyone from playing their commander, as well as other mechanics like Cascade, Foretell, Plot, Rebound, and Suspend. Gyruda, Doom of Depths. Hand in your starting deck contains only cards with even converted mana cost, not relevant. When Gyruda enters the battlefield, each player puts the top 4 cards of their library into their graveyard. Put a creature card with an even converted mana cost from among those cards onto the battlefield under your control. Copying Gyruda, cloning Gyruda all provide value when it comes to the ETB. Also, Blink shenanigans will be effective to maximize those triggers in order to cheat out massive even CMC creatures from your library and possibly find hidden gems from your opponent's deck as well. Riel the Everwise. 1 blue and red. Riel the Everwise gets +1/+0 for each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard. Whenever you discard 1 or more cards for the first time each turn, draw that many cards. Riel is essentially a card draw engine for red, which is a scary thought. Wheel spells can be the most effective if you have a full grip in hand, which is 7 cards, and you discard those to draw 7, you're actually drawing 14 instead. The Ozolith. 1 colors. Whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put those counters on the Ozolith. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if the Ozolith has counters on it, you may move all counters from the Ozolith onto target creature. The Ozolith is a powerful card that is only 1 mana and synergizes with a lot of different counter strategy themes, such as +1 counters, -1 counters, death touch, trample, menace counters. The downside is the price tag of the card, and ideally needs a reprint soon so it becomes more of a staple in the commander format. Luminous Broodmoth. 2 and 2 white, flying. Whenever a creature you control without flying dies, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with a flying counter on it. This insect provides board wipe protection and works well with enter the battlefield and death trigger synergies. I think this card is underplayed in general, because even if you don't abuse the ability with sack outlets, just having that creature protection can be helpful, and the opponents may not be as inclined to block or want to attack you, considering the creature will return even better than before with a flying counter on it. Kinnan Bonder Prodigy. Whenever you tap a non-land permanent 4 mana, add 1 mana of any type that permanent produced. 5 green blue. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a non-human creature card from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. The fact that this card adds an additional mana to all your non-land permanents, which include Artifact Ramp and Mana Dorks, is very good. Kinnan should be banned in Commander simply because Soling and Mana Crypt exist. Not to mention, Kinnan being only 2 mana to cast, that is just way too efficient. Why is this card 2 mana? Please, tell me. Somebody. Explain! And the real question is, does this make Temple of the False God actually playable? Winota, Joiner of Forces. 2 red-white. Whenever a non-human creature you control attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put a human creature card from among them onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. It gains indestructible until end of turn. Put the rest of the cards on the bottom of your library in a random order. Winota is broken. It doesn't even have to attack, and the ability triggers for each non-human that's attacking. You look at the top 6 cards of your library, so you have a good chance to find a human to cheat onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. That also gains indestructible, because why not? Definitely the best Force commander ever printed, which explains why it has so many commander decks on EDH Rec. Stay deadly.